I truly agreed with Amanda Peets that it does kind of boil down to a couple of issues. You know, comparing it to similar functioning property to others. I look at the amount of time that the students actually are on the campus, and it amounts to about almost less than 3 months at the most from what they're listing here. And then the other part about how the property differs from other community center and other activities. It primarily is a college. And primarily, these are people that are there to, you know, they're of age or very close to of age. They're expected to be treated as adults. I think Linfield has an opportunity here, if they are willing to open their minds and hearts to it, to maybe do something that might be really good with the community here. So I would say that I agree with the Planning Commission.
Okay, I'm going to come back to you last, Council President Jeffries. So let's go down, Alan, let's go down to you.
Thank you, Mayor. It's been a wonderful experience here tonight, this exercise of what we call community democracy. It's been wonderful, the civility that's been here, the respect that's been shown on this somewhat of a dilemma issue. I really appreciate being on the City Council and watching this process all happen. I think there's great growth that will happen because of it and continue to happen as we have more and more meetings such as this. I think the Planning Commission did a wonderful job. I agree with them on their outcome. We do have a wonderful community. We do, all of us feel this small town feeling. It's physical and it's also personal. And we always want to protect that. I don't think we will endanger that. And I think it'll just sustain itself through a changing community and a changing world. We know times are changing. We see them all the time. And therefore, I came with an open mind on this, even though I had some set deep feelings about one way or the other it should go. And I have so much confidence in Linfield College. I think their best days are ahead of them. I think they have very capable administrators and a board, professors and coaches and everything else, and that's what will attract people to Linfield College. I don't think the store that's been proposed there, the pharmacy, will detract from that at all, if not enhance it by the education of it. So all in all, I'm in favor of taking the recommendations from the Planning Commission on this. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Alan. Remy?
Thank you. Similarly, I appreciate having many people in our community come to our council meeting. I also am greatly appreciative of our city staff that has put together an extremely thorough ordinance here that does include much more than what was primarily discussed tonight. Clearly identifying the appropriate zoning, hours of operation, and including as well the language in the staff report that they could find no language within the current state law that would mandate a buffer to be placed around Linfield. And kind of going into that topic of Linfield, I absolutely understand the school's point of view and empathize with it. And I understand that their desire is to not have a marijuana business at their doorstep. I also believe that because the college requested this buffer, that the burden of proof that a buffer was necessary rely on the college. I don't believe that we can take into our consideration any concerns of enrollment. Even though Linfield does clearly host large numbers of youth, it is situationally. We do, as a council, have the ability to create buffer zones. We could put them around every playground, every park. We could put them around public housing. And I believe it's very important to look at what the current law is and try to make the best decision based on that. And so at this time, I cannot see anything in any testimony we've heard that would make me think we should have a buffer around Linfield. I think the rest of the ordinance is very well written, and I would vote as the Planning Commission has suggested.
Okay, thank you, Remy. Kevin, Council President.
Would it be possible to ask a question of the Linfield's General Counsel?
Testimony, I think he can, I didn't think so, no.
Okay.
Didn't think so.
How can you help me out there? I have, this one is pretty tough. I think the ordinance that was drafted was really, really good. I think even taking the Linfield College campus out, I think it's a strong ordinance. The time, place, and manner laid out in this is good, and I'm supportive of that. I wish that the buffer still exists. I think given my background on this topic, I think the bigger the buffer, the better for all these areas. I see this as there's so many issues that we face in our society that it's like a swinging door that only swings one way, and you can never close it again. Alcohols, we've heard, how many times did we hear people mention alcohol today? And we tried to slam the door on that in the past with serious implications to our country. So when something like this happens, I'm really hesitant to swing the door wide open. If a 1,000-foot buffer around Linfield College allows us to open the door just a little bit wider and not have it swing open all the way, that's fine. We can open it up a little bit more later as we get more comfortable with this. But I'm kind of on the mindset when things like this happen, we need to be very careful how we approach it and how wide open we swing that door, because it will never shut again. So that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Question. I have a question maybe for legal counsel here regarding, before I ask that question, let me
The question I was going to ask, maybe our counsel. So
our counsel.
it was mentioned about the buffer that exists around Linfield right now. So if a student was to be participating in an activity against the school policy within 1,000 feet of the campus, so if a minor was drinking alcohol along Highway 99W, within the 1,000 feet of the campus could take action against that student, correct? Even though they're not on campus, they're...
I'm not completely familiar with the federal acts that Mr. McKeegan was referencing, but I believe that it has to do with enhanced enforcement procedures by the enforcement arms of the federal government, primarily, is what I understood that to mean. I could be wrong, but I believe that is, in effect, an area where the U.S. Attorney for Oregon looks at that as a more serious area for violations, warranting prosecution at a higher priority.
So does it affect the student? So if a student was participating in something that was against federal law and is a student of that campus, could they be affected by that?
Sure.
Within that buffer? So in a sense, the buffer already exists.
There is a federal, as I think the testimony indicated, there is a federally imposed enforcement enhancement buffer that exists under federal law that's unrelated to zoning law.
Okay.
Did that answer your question?
Since the students are subject to that federal law as well as the state law, is that basically what that's saying? Is that,
Not just the students, the businesses as well.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, that being said, the next thing, order of agenda is I will ask for if there's any abstentions from the council for voting. Would anybody like to abstain from the vote? Alan?
No, I don't want to abstain.
Okay, Remy?
Sir.
Kelly?
No, I don't want to abstain.
Council President Jeffries?
No.
Okay, so there's hearing no exceptions, so we do have an ordinance in front of us, and that's ordinance number 5,000, and that was amended by the Planning Commission to remove the item that had to do with Linfield College and specifically. So that being said, I will ask our legal counsel to read the ordinance by title only, please.
Ordinance number 5,000, an ordinance amending the McMinnville zoning ordinance to provide standards for regulating marijuana business activities in McMinnville and declaring an emergency. I will additionally add that due to the charter, because this has been amended, we need to specifically read in its entirety the section being amended. That section is section 17.64.0406, which shall read, medical marijuana dispensaries and/or commercial recreational facilities may not be located within 1,000 feet of the following: A, public, private, or parochial elementary or secondary school; B, McMinnville Public Library, community center, or aquatic center; C, state licensed preschool.
Okay, that's how the change of the ordinance would read. So that being said, we do have a rotating. Will you poll the council and poll the council president last, please, Rose?
Aye.
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 Okay, that being said, let it show that ordinance number 5,000, the first reading was unanimous, so I will go ahead and have this legal counsel read the second one.
Which I need to find. Ordinance number 5,000, an ordinance amending the McMinnville zoning ordinance to provide standards for regulating marijuana business activities in McMinnville and declaring an emergency.
Okay, thank you. So that being said, we do have, he did read it, and I guess I should have had the vote, well, I can have the vote after the second reading. So.
Yep.
That being said, the ordinance number 5,000 has passed the council unanimously.
Would you have her poll for the second
With me,
reading?
will you poll for the second reading, please, and poll in the same order?
Aye.
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 Let it show that ordinance number 5,000 has unanimously passed the city council. I do have now a couple comments I would like to make now that it's passed. You know, this is an area I think when we voted to ban or not to ban, I had a lot of misgivings about time, place, and manner. And I still have misgivings about time, place, and manner. But after hearing all the testimony tonight, and what I've experienced from both parties is one thing that's always set McMinnville apart is I think even though we have a very adverse community, everybody works together, the businesses, the institutions of higher education, the school district, to make something work to the best of everybody's advantage. And I don't see this as any different. I would kind of really see where there are great comments that the owners and both the property owners and the business owners and the college will work together and do everything they can to minimize the impact on the college and yet have a good thriving business, because that's just the way we do things in McMinnville. So that being said, I'd like to thank everybody who waited around to get this, and we don't have to meet now either tomorrow night or next Tuesday night, since we had both readings tonight. So that being said, do we have anything else to come in front of the council tonight? Dripped in your packet was your cash and investment report, and that was October 2015. So we won't go through our reports from the council or staff because of the we are missing 2 counselors tonight. So meeting adjourned.
I don't want to hear that question. I didn't know why, but Bill, I said, let's come back.
Okay,